नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Okay, so welcome everybody. Today we are going to be discussing from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 10, entitled The Opulence of the Absolute. And we are going to cover two shlokas today, text number 33 and text number 34. So we are just going to read through 33 and 34 and then we will discuss the class. Akshar Ranam Akaro Asmi Dvandva Samasikasya Cha Aham Evakshaya Kala Dhata Aham Vishvata Mukha Aksharanamukaro Asmi Dvandva Samasikasya Cha Aham Evakshaya Kalo Dadaham Vishvato Mukha Aksharanamukaro Asmi Dvandva Samasikasya Cha Aham Evakshaya Kalo Dadaham Vishvato Mukha Aksharanamukaro Asmi Dvandva Samasikasya Cha Aham Evakshaya Kalo Dadaham Vishvato Mukha Aksharana of letters. Akaraha, the first letter. Asmi, I am. Dvandva, the dual. Samasikasya, of compounds. Cha, and. Aham, I am. Eva, certainly. Akshaya, eternal. Kala, time. Data, the creator. Aham, I am. Vishvata Mukha, Brahma. Okay, please listen to the translation carefully. Of letters, I am the letter A, and among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and of creators, I am Brahma. Repeat after me. Of letters, I am the letter A, and among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and of creators, I am Brahma. And we're just going to read the purport, and then we're going to text number 34. Purport. Akara, the first letter of the Sanskrit alphabet, is the beginning of the Vedic literature. Without Akara, nothing can be sounded. Therefore, it is the beginning of sound. In Sanskrit, there are also many compound words, of which the dual word, like Rama-Krishna, is called Dvandva. In this compound, the words Rama and Krishna have the same form, and therefore the compound is called dual. Among all kinds of killers, time is the ultimate, because time kills everything. Time is a representative of Krishna, because in due course of time, there will be a great fire and everything will be annihilated. Among the living entities who are creators, Brahma, who has 4 heads, is the chief. Therefore, he is a representative of Supreme Lord Krishna. Now, text number 34. Mrityu Sarvahara Charmam Udbhavas cha bhavishyatam kirti shrir vak cha narinam smritir medha riddhi shama mrityu sarvarasham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirti shrir vak cha narinam smritir medha riddhi shama mrityu sarvarasham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirti shrir vak cha narinam smriti medha riddhi shama mrityu sarvarasham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirti shrir vak cha narinam smriti medha riddhi shama. Okay, word for word translation, repeat after me. Mrityu, death. Sarvahara, all devouring. Cha, also. Aham, I am. Udbhava, generation. Cha, also. Bhavishyatam, of future manifestation. Kirti, fame. Shri, opulence of beauty. Vak, fine speech. Cha, also. Narina, of women. Smriti, memory. Medha, intelligence. Riddhi, firmness. Shama, patience. Okay, let's listen to the translation in perfect by Divine Grace Prabhu. Translation. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Repeat after me. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. And among women I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Okay, let's listen to the purport. As soon as a man is born, he dies at every moment. Thus, death is devouring every living entity at every moment. But the last stroke is called death itself. That death is Krishna. As for future development, all living entities undergo 6 basic changes. They are born, they grow, they remain for some time, they reproduce, they dwindle, and finally they vanish. Of these changes, the first is deliverance from the womb, and that is Krishna. The first generation is the beginning of all future activities. The 7 opulences listed, fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience, are considered feminine. If a person possesses all of them, or some of them, he becomes glorious. If a man is famous as a righteous man, that makes him glorious. Sanskrit is a perfect language, and is therefore very glorious. If after studying one can remember subject matter, he is gifted with good memory, or smriti, and the ability not only to read many books on different subject matters, but to understand them and apply them when necessary is intelligence, medha, another opulence. The ability to overcome unsteadiness is called firmness or steadfastness, riddhi. And when one is fully qualified, yet is humble and gentle, and when one is able to keep his balance both in sorrow and in ecstasy of joy, he has the opulence called patience, shama. Okay? Om Jnana तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Okay, so we're going to start with 10.33, discussing that. Aksharanamakaru asmi vandva samasikasya cha aham eva kshaya kalo data mam vishvat. So in this verse, there are three main points that Krishna is highlighting as his opulences. So in all these verses that Krishna is speaking, he is listing 82 different opulences and across all different categories. So now he is coming to the category of grammar or speech or languages. So he is saying that in grammar, there are two parts. There's the letters and this grammatical area called compound words. So in the first one, in letters, in Sanskrit, the first letter is called A and the next letter is A. So these two words are the first letters of the Sanskrit language. And the Sanskrit language is very perfect. It's so perfect that in fact, even in artificial intelligence and coding, they use the Sanskrit language because it is the best language to use in computer science. It's because it's so perfect, it is a complete language. And so in this language, the letter A is very prominent, and without which you cannot make any words. So it is very prominent, and because it is very prominent, it has got a special opulence. And that opulence, Krishna says that I am that. I am the most useful thing or the most greatest thing within anything. And in the case of the Sanskrit language, it is the letter A. So it is very integral. And so anything that is integral, that represents Krishna's opulence. And then when it comes to dual compound words, Jiva Goswami, he has helped us to spiritualize the entire grammatical language of Sanskrit, and he has shown us to see it from a devotional light. So he wrote the whole grammar based on a rule using only the names of Krishna and Vishnu in a text called the Hari Namamrita Vyakaran. In that he has explained the entire grammar of Sanskrit only through the glories of Krishna and Hari and Vishnu. And finally, even in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Kaviraj Goswami, he says that language should be eloquent. It should not contain things that are unnecessary. So in a sentence, there should not be any extra word which is unnecessary. And in a paragraph, there should not exist a sentence which is not unnecessary. And in an essay, there should not exist a paragraph which is unnecessary. So by summarizing all the points, all the philosophical truths very concisely, that shows expert usage of language. And so this is where the concept of compound words come, and dual compound words. So compound words are any two words that are put together. And for example, we have a devotee child. So devotee child is referring to a certain person. So but what is more important? Is it the devotee aspect or is it the child aspect? So there is one which is heavier than the other. But a dual compound word is when both these words have the same heaviness or the same power. So Ramakrishna, as given his example, that is an example of a dual compound where both the words have got equal weight, and it is very powerful wording. And so that is what Krishna is saying, that I am that dual compound words because it is got power in it. Both the words have got power in it. So that is what Krishna is saying, that I am that. I am eloquence in speech. I am eloquence. So that is the grammatical aspect of it. But now the second part in this shlok is the time aspect. So Krishna is saying here that he is inexhaustible time. He is also mentioned this in many other parts of the Gita. That I am time, and I am the subduer of all subduers. I am time, and here he is saying that time. I am also the inexhaustible time. So how do we understand this? So time is one thing. It's got a very special quality. Time will exhaust everything, but it itself will not get exhausted. It will exhaust everything else, but it will not get exhausted itself. So some people argue that, oh, Krishna Bhagavan was only there 5,000 years ago, but he is not alive anymore. But that is not right. God is alive at every single moment. He is alive through the fact that there is time. So the notion that God ceases to exist is like the idea that a circle ceases to be circular. There is never a time that a circle will not be circular. If it is not circular, it doesn't even mean it's a circle. Similarly, God is time, and if there is no time, then there is no God. But it cannot be a possibility because we are living in the present moment. There was the past, there is the present moment, and there is also the future. So time is acting upon us at every moment. And so Krishna is there with us through the factor of time. So he is the cause of all causes, and he is a sustainer underlying all sustaining. And time also comes from him, and not that he comes from time. So that is why when we speak of the incarnations of the Lord, like we said that, oh, Ram Bhagavan came onto this earth so many years ago, or Krishna Bhagavan was on this earth so many years ago, or there were so many other different incarnations. It's not that these incarnations came at birth and then they died. No, it's not that. We call it they have appeared and then they have disappeared. Because Bhagavan is not under the domain of time. He is outside the domain of time. Just like we are in this hall right now, and if somebody comes into this hall and he comes under a purview, then you think that, oh, he has appeared here and then he goes away, that means he's disappeared. Doesn't mean that he was born at the door of the hall and then he dies at the door of the hall. No, he's always existing. He was existing before he came here, and after he leaves this hall, he is going to still exist. So that is how Krishna is. Krishna is existing for eternity in his spiritual world, but he appears in the material world and then he disappears after finishing his pastimes. So we can understand this through the example of the sun. Right now the sun is not in our view, it's night time. But doesn't mean that the sun is not there. The sun will again rise in a few hours time, and then again it will set. So the continuous appearance and the disappearance of the sun is like the appearance and disappearance of Krishna's incarnations. It doesn't mean that he is born and he is died. He is always existing. He just sometimes he comes and appears in a different form, in a tangible form, and he then disappears. And so one might question, why does Krishna want to show himself in the time form? So Krishna is like a loving parent. Sometimes the parent disciplines the child either by the carrot or the stick philosophy. The parent will start to encourage the child to come to him by the carrot method, or try to discipline the child through the stick method. So time is like the tough love of Krishna, because time shows us that there is nothing that is permanent. So there is no point in undergoing so much material endeavors, because at the end of your life, at the end during death, everything is stripped away from you. So it's like the big stick that you've just wasted your time. So this time is like the tough love of Krishna. And he tells in the Gita that you come, you worship me, you offer obeisances to me, you think of me. All these are the carrot policy. And time, as it is the stick philosophy. And he's also very, very magnanimous, and he's very, very merciful to us. Because how many lifetimes have we actually been stuck and repeating the same process of always missing our chance to know Krishna, and yet Krishna is still with us. We have spent billions and billions of lifetimes just chewing the chew, just going through material life again and again, and yet Krishna is still with us in his roop of the super soul, and yet he is not giving up on us. His tough love is still there, and he is also giving the carrot. But we are so used to having the tough love that we don't even see the carrot philosophy of Krishna. So we have to try and understand that Krishna as the time factor is only just showing us his tough love. He is trying to direct us back to him eventually. He is trying to direct us back to him so that we understand the futility of our material endeavors. Finally, the last part of this shlok is that the source of Brahma's power of creation is Krishna himself. So everything that we see which is created, and we are also creators, we are also small mini creators. We create our own house, we create our own family, we create so many things, and we are creators at a very small mini scale. But then there is a very big creator, and that creator is Brahma, who created the entire universe. But even he is known as a secondary creator, and he is getting his power, his creative power from who? From Krishna. In the first verse of the Bhagavatam, it says, Tedya Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. He gives the knowledge, the Vedic knowledge of creation to Brahma, so that he can then engineer this entire material universe. So he is the original creator, he is a primary creator. So anything that you see opulent, it's all because of his power that he is given away. Not only his own power, but his power that is given to Brahma to create. So it's like second-hand creation. So just imagine if Brahma can create so many things which are very, very opulent and attractive to us, then imagine what Krishna's abode would be like. His own abode, how attractive would that be? If Brahma's creation right now we think is very beautiful, then just imagine Krishna's abode. And even he is a primary creator. Okay, so that is for this 10.33. Now in 10.34, Krishna says, Mrityu sarva harashtraham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirti shrirvamchad nararina smriti veda dhriti shama. I am all devouring death, and I am the generative principle of all that is to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, mind, speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. So here again, Krishna is highlighting a few more opulences. The first one is that he is the all-devouring death. So we are very, very experienced that there are so many thieves in this world. There is a haras. Haras means to steal. So some people have experience in stealing money, some people have experience in stealing clothes or any other material thing. But death steals everything from you. It steals even your identity. It steals not only all your possessions, but also your own identity with this body. And Krishna is the greatest thief that way. Krishna as death is the greatest thief, because he will take away everything that you know in this lifetime, and then you will be put into another lifetime if your consciousness has not become pure enough to understand it and to dovetail devotional service towards him. So there is this one episode in the Mahabharata where we understand how death is such a confusing and a wondrous thing. So, in the Mahabharata, in the Vana Parva section of the Mahabharata, Yudhishthira Maharaj is asked by Yamraj that what is the most wonderful thing within this world? And this is the answer that Yudhishthira Maharaj gave. Ahani ahani bhutani gachantiha yamalayam shesha thavaram icchanti kim ascharya athav param. Ahani ahani means hundreds and thousands of who? Bhutani, living entities. Hundreds and thousands of living entities. Gacchantita yamalayam are entering into the jaws of death and getting to Yamraj's abode. But then what happens is that Sheshas Thavaram Ichanti, but the people who stay behind, they are thinking that death will not come to them. Kim Ascharya Matavaram, and that is the most wondrous thing. That hundreds and thousands of living entities meet death at every moment, but a foolish living being nonetheless thinks himself deathless and does not prepare for death. This is the most wonderful thing in the world. And so whenever when we are born, like how you have in a factory, you have a manufacturing date and you have an expiration date. So when we were born in hospital or wherever we were born with a manufacturing date, our birthday. But we also were born with an expiration date. But the problem is that we do not know when our expiration date is. So life is a preparation and then death is the examination. So once we have to use this life to prepare for the final exam being death. And the passing mark is that you go back to Godhead. That is your A star. Otherwise there is an F. There's only A star or F. There is no middle. There's only A star or F. You either get to the spiritual world or you roam around in this material world. There's another story from the Mahabharata, and this story is very interesting. So there was once a man. A man was being chased by an elephant. And now this elephant is very mad and is running after this man. Now this man finds a tree. And so he climbs up the tree. But then he slips. And so he hangs himself and he catches a branch. So now he's hanging on a branch. And there is a elephant that's just come and come next to him. And he cannot reach the man. But he can reach the trunk. So he wraps his trunk around the trunk of the tree and starts to uproot the tree to try and get hold of this man. Now he is hanging on a branch. This man is hanging on a branch. But now this branch has got two rats on it. There's one white rat and there's one black rat. And these two rats are nibbling at the branch, so that by nibbling, the branch is getting weaker and weaker. And now this man is like, oh my God, I'm going to not survive this ordeal because this branch is going to fall off. There's two black rats, and this black rat and white rat, they're nibbling off the branch. This branch will not sustain me. And then, by misfortune, he looks down. And when he looks down, he sees so many snakes. And he's like, oh my God, now there's death at me at every time. If I leave the branch, then the elephant will get me. If the branch falls down, then the snakes are going to get me. But at that moment, when he's thinking about how unfortunate his scenario is, there is another branch on top of him. And on that branch, there is a honeycomb in there. And it's dropping. It's dropping. The honey is dropping. And it comes and hits him on the tongue. And then this is very, 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 very tasty. Where does this honey come from? And then he looks up and he's like, oh my God, this is a very nice, really nice honeycomb right on top of me. And he's dripping with honey. Little drops, little drops, little drops. But he doesn't even know that honeycomb has got a lot of bees. And now the bees are starting to sting him. The bees come and sting him. But then he gets one drop and he forgets that he's actually having any problem, because the honey is very, very tasty. It's like nectar. So now look at this scenario. This man he is hanging on a branch. There is two rats nibbling away at the branch. There's an elephant waiting to trample upon him. There's snakes below him, and then there are bees stinging him. But yet he is so engrossed in the drops of honey that are coming to his tongue, that are falling into his tongue. So what does this represent? That elephant represents death. Death is always chasing us, and one day it will come and trample us. Then there are two rats, a black rat and a white rat. That represents day and night. Day and night, every day you are dying a bit. Every day your lifetime is getting used little by little. It's nibbling away. Then the snakes are representing your future karma, or big obstacles in your life that are going to come. And then the bees are like instant karmas that you are getting, or small karmas that you are suffering. And yet, despite all of this unfortunate scenario, you are only focused on the small drip of tongue that is giving you temporary relief. That is the situation of everyone in this material world. That we do not see all the things that are causing us so much suffering, and yet we are just focusing on the small drop of honey, and we're thinking that is pleasure. That is not pleasure. If you look at the whole context, that is not pleasure. That is very temporary, fleeting pleasure. And that is a illusion of material happiness. That one drop of honey is going to sustain us. It's going to save us from all these calamities. So that is another story that the Mahabharata shows about how death is always around us, but yet Maya is so strong that we think that death is not going to catch us. And Krishna is saying that I am the all-devouring death. Even in the Mahabharata, in the beginning, or later on, when Krishna shows Arjuna the universal form, and he shows the Kal group as well. Arjuna sees all the soldiers entering into the jaws of death of Krishna, and he gets very afraid. Like, what type of form am I seeing? It's a very terrifying form. But Krishna shows that this is my Kal group. This is my universal form, my Virat roop. It's very, very magnanimous and very, very terrifying as well. So Krishna shows that I am time, I am the all devouring death. That will come because I am time. Time kills everyone. Finally, we have the second one we have is the generating principle. That without Krishna, nothing can ever come into being. So there are 6 basic changes that happen in every living entity's life. The first one is that they are born. The second one is that they grow. Third one is that they stay for a bit. Fourth one is they reproduce. Fifth one is the dwindle, and the last one is death. So we already saw that Krishna is the last one. But then Krishna also says that I am the first one. I am the birth, and I am also death. So anything that you do can only be possible if Krishna has sanctioned these 2 things in the beginning and the end. So Krishna is the generating principle and is also the devouring principle. He is both. So it covers the entire life. So that our entire life is only possible if Krishna allows it to happen. Like sometimes you see that when a man and woman get together, they might not have any problem, but still they have difficulty in conceiving a child. It's because they don't have the sufficient credit to get a child. Yeah? Because we are not the doers. The ultimate doer is Krishna. If Krishna does not sanction, then nothing can happen. Even if it's in the Bhagavatam that we have the story of Chitraketu, and he had 10 million wives, and just by coincidence, all his 10 million wives were barren, or they turned out to be barren. He could not get a child even if he had so many wives. So it's not always the case that we are the doers. Krishna is the ultimate doer. If he sanctions it, then it happens. And then finally we cover the 7 qualities. The 7 qualities of women is fine fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, patience. But which fame are we talking about? Nowadays, even if you do something that is very cruel, you become famous. So no, this is not that fame. This is good fame. This is fame based on religious principles. Like even Pope writes here that if a man is famous as a righteous man, that makes him glorious. So it's not all type of fame. It's the right type of fame, which is in religious principles. And second is fortune. Now, not fortune that is earned by illegal means, but fortune that is earned by religious means. That fortune is a good quality. Fine speech, which means this is cultured language, which expresses everything properly, which, as we saw, is the Sanskrit language. Sanskrit language is very glorious because it is a perfect language. And finally, we have memory. Sometimes we see that, a person can remember so many things, but that memory power, it comes from Krishna. And one might have a lot of memory power, but cannot use it. But each person can even use that memory power and use it to discriminate what is right and wrong and do something useful with it. And we say that person is very intelligent. Even that intelligence, Krishna is saying that it's coming from me. So neither the memory nor the intelligence is actually ours. It is a benediction given by Krishna. So whenever we achieve something, we must remember that my intelligence or my memory power to remember that particular thing that I read and apply it in a situation, all that ability has come from Krishna. So that should make you a humble person. That makes you a humble person, and knowing that neither your memory nor your intelligence is actually your ability. It's coming from Krishna. And then you have people who are very steadfast. They are able to overcome all obstacles, and because they are able to overcome all obstacles, they also get the quality of being patient. That they are able to sustain or experience the highs and lows, and so they are also able to become patient in the sense that they understand that even if you're down, nothing is over, and if you're very high, then you should not go over the top. So those two qualities of steadfastness and patience, these two are also known as knowledge. Krishna highlights these two qualities as knowledge in the 13th chapter. He says that there is a whole list of qualities, and these two are also part of that list, that this is what is considered knowledge. But all of these qualities are meant to do what? They are meant to make one humble. Just like you have a tree is full of fruits. A tree full of fruits is always hanging down because it's very humble. But a tree which has no fruits is standing up straight and is very proud. So knowledge and all these qualities is not supposed to make you become very proud. It is supposed to make you humble and meek, because you realize that all these good qualities is not actually because you have them. It's because Krishna is bestowing them in you as a soul in the mode of goodness or pure goodness. So these qualities, Krishna kind of addresses them as being feminine. It's not that it's only limited to women, but it is feminine in nature. And if you think about it, we as souls, we are the inferior energy. We are not Bhagwan. We are just a part and parcel of Krishna. So we are naturally subordinate to Krishna. So these feminine qualities are all applicable to us as souls. That if we are able to develop these feminine qualities, then we are getting more and more in touch with our real self, our real position as an individual soul, a surrendered soul to Krishna. So all these qualities are the qualities, like the perfection of these qualities are seen in the pure devotees. The pure devotees perfect these feminine qualities of fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. So that is the end of this text. If anyone has any questions, we can ask now. This Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Shri Prabhupada ki.